how to self-regulate better, be patient and persistent with your work and self-regulation. So we want to understand the basics. Managing our emotions and responding to situations appropriately. I don't have any children, but I have nephews. And I remember this story, this time when they were visiting me when I lived in Santa Barbara, and they spilled Pepsi on my carpet. And they were arguing about who was going to clean up the Pepsi. And they're like, no, you clean up the Pepsi, you spilled it, no, you knocked it over. And I came out of the bathroom and I was like, guys, it doesn't matter who spilled it, there's Pepsi on the carpet, right? Let's get this thing clean. It doesn't matter who cleans it, it just needs to be clean. Well, if I had walked out of the bathroom and said, you guys are just, stop arguing, and you guys are not disappointing me, and stop acting like this way, and da-da-da-da-da-da. My emotions are not being managed properly. I'm feeling all this anger, I'm expressing this anger, and now I'm part of the problem because I'm not even dealing with the Coke on the floor, right? I'm dealing with just yelling at my nephews. We want to manage our emotions and respond to situations properly. Problem solve. I just used the example with my nephews, right? I came out, and it's a problem-solving thing. Oh, there's Pepsi on the floor? Let's clean up the Pepsi. That's a novel idea. How are we going to do it? I got rags. I get some water. Oh, hey, you guys don't know, maybe you're intimidated. I'll show you how to clean up the Pepsi on the floor. So that next time you spill stuff on the floor, you'll know how to clean it up, and that you need to clean it up fast. I like the example of I've used this example before of flat tires. Has anyone in here ever had a flat tire? Right. So what do we usually do when we have a flat tire?
Call AAA.
Call AAA. Perfect. Great service, by the way.
Yeah.
Sponsor of this presentation. Right, so we fix it, right? We don't get out of the car and start stabbing the other tires. Right? Have you ever seen someone be like, I have a flat tire, this is so disappointing, and then they go and they start beating up their car and stabbing the other tires, right? But do we see people do that with their disappointing moments? Have we ever seen people use their anger, their frustrations, their resentment to, instead of problem solve, create a bigger problem?
Yeah.
These are things that we have to have these conversations in life, right? With our loved ones, with ourselves, is that we want to solve problems. We want to be problem solvers. It doesn't mean that the problem gets solved, but we want to have the attitude of looking at things as something that can be solved, something that we can resolve, even if resolving something means that we're not taking part in it. It might be ending a relationship. It might be moving on from something. But we want to solve the problem. We don't want to make the problem bigger. I worked in domestic violence. I worked with a family in Santa Barbara that's very public. Their daughter was murdered. She was a student at UCSB. She broke up with her boyfriend. He called her up and said, hey, come over, I want to have our last chat. He stabbed her to death, okay? Awful, awful situation. I met with the family, we did vigils, we did a lot of work. They took this horrible problem, this horrible situation of their daughter being murdered, and they decided, you know what? We're going to invest in the community. We're going to invest in this nonprofit, Domestic Violence Solutions. We're going to create events about awareness and help young people understand relationship dynamics. I was brought in to teach relationship education to lots of young men. There were men that were like 14 years old that were dads. And because of this family's donations to our organization, they were able to take a horrible situation and problem solve, as opposed to saying, someone murdered my child, I hate everybody. This isn't right, how could this happen to me? I'm gonna make sure that people pay the price for every mistake they make. Which, hey, you know, it's understandable why people would feel that way, right? We can definitely understand it. But it's just to say, they took a problem-solving approach. Controlling our actions and our impulses, doing a self-assessment, looking at yourself objectively, and just saying like, hey, I see people around me this way. How would I look at myself? How would I look at my behavior? If I judge so-and-so for this, don't I kind of do that? Or if I think so-and-so is great for this, don't I kind of do that too? I should think really highly of myself too. And if you notice, just in this one space, we've been able to have this nice conversation of things we can do to better ourselves. There's a lot here that we can. The number 2 is develop self-awareness. You want to identify triggers that disrupt you. What are the things that take you out of ease? What are the things that bring you into dis-ease? You ever notice how that sounds like disease? I used to work with the Native American folks up in Humboldt County. A lot of trainings. The perspective was beautiful. Dis-ease as opposed to ease. That's how they saw people when they were dealing with mental health is, oh, you're out of ease, you're out of equilibrium. You're not in line with your true nature. So identifying those triggers that disrupt you. It could even be something as simple as food. There's a great book called Gut and Psychological Syndrome. I used to do behavioral analysis and I worked with people on the autistic spectrum. And a lot of these parents understood that food could trigger behavior in their children. Oh, I don't have any energy, I don't feel good, I'm depressed. It might literally be something that you're eating. It might not be necessarily all of it is life, all of it is this, okay? Recognize your emotions accurately. Understand your deeper feelings. When I used to teach relationship education, we would talk about feelings, but then we would talk about hidden feelings. So someone would be mad because you did the laundry a certain type of way. You put the detergent in the laundry wrong. And it's like, and it's like, why are you always mad because I put the detergent in the laundry? Why do you get so upset? Why do we have this fight every Saturday? I'm trying to do the laundry, honey, or whatever. And it's like, it's not about the detergent. It's because I've asked you to do it this way. And you're not doing that. I've asked you because I'm worried that the laundry is going to break or that it's going to mess up the clothes or this. So really the issue isn't even the detergent. It's about respect. It's about feeling valued. It's about feeling heard, right? So do this with yourself is looking at your emotions. Like you might be angry. You might be sad. Or you might even be happy. But dig deeper and find out why. Because this is how we can beat those cycle of emotions from coming up. Have we ever seen maybe someone we know or even within ourselves, like, it's like, man, every time I just keep having the same emotions. It's like Groundhog's Day. Every time it's the same. It gets you tired sometimes. But if we dig deeper, we can find out and then we can problem solve. We can find out what's really going on. Understand how your actions impact yourself and others. Have you guys ever heard of emotional intelligence? And I think this is a big part of emotional intelligence, is understanding how your actions impact yourself and others. Because they do, for positive and for negative. And other people affect themselves and you or their community as well. So taking a look at yourself and saying, what are the things that I get complimented on the most, man? Like, these are the things I'm really great at, or these are the things that I really appreciate about myself, or this is how I feel. I compliment myself. I feel these are great. Or, man, I notice when I'm around people and I act this way, like, people, like, leave the room. People don't text me or call me or whatever when I talk about these things. And understanding that, hey, maybe there's some sort of theme going on, right? Or a theme going on with someone else. This can also help us with difficult conversations with others. Sometimes people, they can't see outside of themselves, and we say, well, I appreciate that you're going through something. I just want to add, do you understand that when you feel this way, how I feel? Let me tell you, I feel like when you feel this way, it causes a lot of stress in me. I feel a lot of stress. It could potentially open up a conversation to be more connected. Practice these techniques. Slow, deep breaths to calm the nervous system. Have you ever seen a situation where someone's arguing with someone or what have you, like the Jerry Springer show or whatever? Most of those people aren't talking slow. Most of those people aren't saying like, well, Donna, I cheated on you with the, and they're like talking really fast, back and forth. They're going at it, and that's how people start calling each other names, and they start doing all the things that are very disruptive to relationships. But if you're breathing slowly, if you're in a relaxed state, you're more likely to speak more calmly. So I always suggest that taking nice, deep breaths before you're dealing with a stressful situation or having a stressful conversation. In fact, when I used to teach the relationship classes, we used to say timeouts. Very appropriate. Have you guys ever heard of situations where a parent's going to discipline their child, but then they say, okay, well, let dad or mom think about it, and we'll talk in a few hours. It's very appropriate because you need to calm down. You don't want to be emotional when you're whatever discipline a person's doing, grounding someone or what have you. We've seen lots of situations in social services where people lose it. It's awful. Mindfulness, deep breaths is very important. So you want to stay in the present moment. Often when we're going through stress, we start thinking of what this means. What is this going to do to me? Maybe you're in a relationship and the relationship's going in a bad direction and you say, oh my gosh, like, what's going to happen? We live together, we have bills, you start thinking ahead, right? Oh, if this doesn't happen, all these things are going to happen, right? You want to live in the present moment. You want to be mindful. You're in the now. And the now is a space of creation. This is where we create our future relationships, our future beautiful connections, and our future trauma is in the now. If you're mindful in the moment, something that could be a traumatic experience, maybe you're arguing with a parent, a child, a friend or something. If you're mindful, you might say, hey, I'm recognizing I'm getting really angry right now, and I value our relationship in the long term. And I don't want to say things that are emotional. I want to be mindful. So I think, I'm going to go get some coffee, take a break, and we'll talk tonight or we'll talk tomorrow morning, or I'll text you when I'm feeling better. Those are all very healthy things. Cognitive reappraisal, reframing negative thoughts to a more positive and realistic ones. It's very natural. We've established that it's inevitable that we're going to be thinking negatively about ourselves. But are there things in life that maybe it's true? Maybe there are some negative things that we're feeling, but if we really put in the thought, can we create a more positive outlook on those negative things? What can you take from the situation? In the beginning, also is contextual of our age. When we're younger, sometimes we feel like we have all the time in the world and we say to ourselves, oh yeah, like this is awful, this is horrible, I'm gonna hang on to this. That was a waste of time. That was a waste of time. That was a heavy burden that was carried for many years, right? And we don't want that for ourselves and we don't want that for others. The last part, establish a health routine and set goals. Exercise, nutrition, things of that nature. I think it's very important to practice those things. Sometimes in life we think we're sick in our mind. We're having anxiety, we're having depression, we're having all these things. We're frustrated all the time, we're irritable. But it can be as simple as a health issue. It can be as simple as a body regulation. I've always said that there's a lot of people that are shamed because of things they're going through, and what they're really dealing with is literally a health issue, whether it be mental health or physical health. I talked about in our last presentation sleep apnea. Sleep apnea is one of those things where it just sucks the life out of you. And people might say, oh, that this person is this person is that, when they don't even know that their battery is always on low. So the last thing is about building healthy habits. Hey, get good sleep, exercise regularly, eat a positive diet, and positive self-talk. In terms of eating a healthy diet, we have in our microbiome second brain. Mm-hmm. So your gut literally affects how you think. Yeah. So if you're addicted to foods, if you're eating a lot of gluten, if you're eating a lot of sugar, a lot of caffeine, a lot of processed foods, it can affect your mood because those bad bacteria in the microbiome are like, feed us more Doritos, come on, And it's like, it will bring you down, we'll get you irritable, we'll do that. And so really, really focusing on a healthy diet. I got a great book for you guys that I mentioned last time. It's The Microbiome Solution. It's a great book for women. It's a great book on your gut health. I think it's just a fantastic read. And then, again, positive self-talk. How you talk to yourself affects your reality, the things you say to yourself. So if you say to yourself, oh, I'm not doing good, you're basically like putting a magic wand and saying,
manifesting, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not good, right?
Yeah.
It's like a magic wand. Oh, I don't feel good. Psh, I'm not a good-looking person. Psh, I'm not in shape. Psh, I don't have enough money. Psh. Mm-hmm. And you're feeding all of these things into your computer. Our brains are so powerful. And I'm going to talk about our subconscious later and how powerful that is. So imagine if you're saying all the good things. Yeah. Something as simple as saying, like, I'm a happy person.
Yeah.
And no matter how it looks, I know I'm happy. I have it in me to be joyful. I have it in me to be positive with people and feel good about myself, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's a great, great thing to do.